Today we will discuss about the various schools of yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. The true nature of man is divine, perfect and infinite. Who am I? That question Ramana Maharshi asked to himself. And when I realized that I am infinite, eternal, perfect, divine being, Aham Brahmasmi, then that question is answered correctly. But it is not known. Man is not aware of his divinity because he is falsely identifying himself with all other items like body, designation, name, Aadhaar number, etc., which are outside himself. This false identification made him feel imperfect and subject to sorrows and decay and death. So this happened due to ignorance, avidya. When man transcends this wrong knowledge and he is relieved of his own sorrows, because all the sorrows are coming out of the wrong knowledge, false identification. Yoga aims at human evolution from lower strata to higher, from lower awareness to higher awareness, by the individual at all levels of existence, physical level, mental level, psychical level and spiritual level. So spirit, the word spirit means self, which is universal self. So spiritual level means universal self level. You become one with the universe. You transcend your individuality. Every effort directed towards achieving a developed state of evolution is called yoga. So what is yoga? Is nothing but a process of evolution from the individual to the supreme. Survey of yoga tradition reveals the existence of a variety of approaches, techniques and practices since ancient times without any systematization. The Vedic and Upanishadic sources give evidences to the existence of numerous types of yoga schools with different techniques. The different schools of yoga which have existed since the very early Vedic period did not develop separate identities over a number of generations. This made Patanjali possible to absorb, synthesize and bring out a systematic exposition of concrete yoga school. That is how the Yoga Darshana was created by the Patanjali Yoga Sutras of Maharishi Patanjali. The first systematic, comprehensive and integral school of yoga is Buddhism. Another school of yoga that is slightly older than even Buddhist school is Jain yoga. But its literature was composed several centuries later than Buddhism. In general, the spiritual seekers are classified under 4 types based on their general characteristics and sources of inspiration. First is the reasoning type, the discriminating type. The philosophical mind responds quickly to this process. Second is psychic type. Psychic does not mean psychiatric, but psychologically emotional, which responds more to mental stimuli than to sensual stimuli. Then the devotional or loving type, which has a greater capacity for feeling. We all know we have the concept of dil and dimag. Just thinking logically is not adequate. We need emotional being, emotional existence. We are all emotional beings. So sense of feeling for the other person. Giving heart, dil deke dekho. Give your heart, your feelings. That is the devotional type. And the active type, who are very active, going around doing a lot of things. Energetic or outgoing propensities. So the word yoga means uniting or joining. The principles and practices used by each type of aspirant of the 4 categories above are to purify the imperfect personality and join the same with the pure, perfect, divine personality called yoga. That process is called yoga. It is a science of progressive transformation of human existence from less evolved to more evolved stage. Hence it is also called a science of human evolution. The method followed for the discriminative type is called Jnana Yoga because it is knowledge based, discrimination based, analytical based. For the psychic type or the psychological type or emotional type is called Raja Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga is for the devotional type, love type, and Karma Yoga is recommended for the active type of the personality. Since time immemorial, the knowledge of yoga has been handed down from teacher to student by oral transmission. In this process, as time progressed, much was added and much was left out or changed. This resulted in the rise of several schools of yoga. Among them, the 6 major schools of yoga have gained prominence: the Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Hatha Yoga, and Mantra Yoga. Additionally, there are Laya Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga. However, these additional schools have got accommodated into Hatha Yoga. All these divergent forms of yoga have a common code of moral requirements called Yama and Niyama as their foundation and share a common goal of ecstatic experience or the transcendental reality. Raja Yoga, according to Swami Vivekananda, Raja Yoga is the science of mind. It teaches how to concentrate the mind in order to know the innermost depths, to generalize their contents and form our own conclusions from them. This meditative technique is used to lead to the discovery of the transcendental reality beyond thought and image. It is an experiential yoga process, beyond worship and prayer, beyond ritual and magic. When man comes into direct contact with reality, after analyzing his own mind, which is never destroyed, pure and perfect, he will go no more to be miserable nor unhappy. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo, bandhasya vishayasaktam muktasya nirvishayam manaha. Your mind is the cause of all your experiences, good or bad, experiences of bondage or leverage or freedom. So a mind which is bogged down with negative emotions or with attachments or obsessions, it will never be free and happy. So to reach a state of mind of freedom and happiness, you have to release your mind from such bondings. All misery comes out of fear and unsatisfied desire. Unsatisfied desire leads to birth itself, it leads to anger and all negative emotions. And fear is, of course, the worst of all emotions. When man realizes his true nature, he will be no more fear of death. Once you realize that you are infinite, eternal, Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, then you are not afraid of death, because death is only for the body. It is like death of a post. When you retire, that post is dead. And so also when you finished an educational course, the student life is dead. So in this life, dehinasmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi. Similarly, a new body will also be acquired by shedding this old body. And there will be perfect bliss even in this life itself, if you are able to detach yourself from the body and place yourself to your identity with the infinite, eternal self. This is the aim of Raja Yoga. And this is an experiential process. It is not just a theory. The science of Raja Yoga is based on Sankhya philosophy. According to Sankhya, the external world is but the gross form of the internal. What you see outside is projection of your own internal world. The finer is always the cause and the grosser is the effect. So the external world is the effect and the internal is the cause. In the same way, external forces are simply the grosser parts, of which the internal forces are the finer parts. So external and internal are related this way to a gross and fine. The Raja Yogi proposes to manipulate the internal forces and get the whole nature of an external force under his control. He wants to arrive at the knowledge of reality where the so-called natural laws will have no influence over him. He will be master of the whole nature, internal and external. Buddhi, Ahankara and Manas are called Antakaranas of Sankhya philosophy. The senses come into contact with objects outside and carry the information to the Manas, and which in turn synthesizes data into determinate knowledge and pass on to the same to the Buddhi through the Ahankara, from which the Purusha receives them. Next in turn he gives orders back to the motor organs to do the needful. Except Purusha, all these are material. Purusha is the intelligent sentient being. The rest is all Prakriti. The Antakaranas are much finer than the external instruments. The material with which the Antakaranas are made is the same by which Tanmatras are made. These Tanmatras become gross and make the external matter. The 5 senses have 5 Tanmatras. When they are grossified in the external world, it is called nature or universe. But inside they are subtle. These Tanmatras become gross and make the eternal matter, and this is the psychology of Sankhya. The philosophy of Raja Yoga is grafted on the metaphysics of Sankhya. The Antakaranas are called the Chitta. So there is only a difference in degree between chitta and the external matter. The chitta is an instrument in the hands of the soul through which the soul receives outside information. The chitta always undergoes change and modifications. When one is made to stop from undergoing modifications and turned inside towards the soul, then one comes face to face with the internal process and then to the reality. The Raja Yoga proposes the internal reality realization. Raja Yoga proposes to attain that fine state of perception in which he can perceive all the different mental states. And this is not theory, it's going to be experienced through the techniques of meditation. The preparation of the method adopted by Raja Yoga to attain the final perceptions of reality is called Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali. Sage Patanjali, the author of Yoga Sutras, formulates the technology of Ashtanga Yoga. He defines yoga as chittavritti nirodha, when all the modifications of chitta, mind stuff are brought under control, are arrested. Then the seer, tada drashtu swarupya avastha, the observer, feeler, thinker, seer, enjoyer, consciousness, purusha, he is within himself, his own glory, and that is kaivalya. So, infinite eternal self-realization is kaivalya. The Ashtanga Yoga consists of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. What are yamas? Yamas are 5 principles: satya, ahimsa, brahmacharya, astya, aparigraha. These are the purificatory processes of the mind, and they are universal sworn oaths for the individual as well as the external world, which becomes the law. In the form of law, the external world is controlled by the same 5 principles of satya, ahimsa, brahmacharya, astya, aparigraha. So satya is truth, and ahimsa is non-harming, and brahmacharya is chastity, and asteya is non-stealing, aparigraha is non-accumulation, or not receiving anything from others. Niyamas or observances help the practitioner to gain speedy success in yoga. The yamas are the 5 principles, non-negotiable, compulsory requirements. They are upheld in all the religions. We have verified in our research that they are upheld in every single religion in the world, and even by atheists and by the law in every country. So niyamas are observances which are desirable but not compulsory essentials. They are the 5 niyamas: shaucha, purity; santosha, contentment; tapas, austerity; and swadhyaya, self-study; and ishvara pranidhana, which is surrender to the will of God. So these 5 are higher level, higher order ethical moral principles. That is purity and santosha, satisfaction, contentment; tapas, austerity; and swadhyaya, study of the self or good study; and ishvara pranidhana is surrender to Supreme Being. The above 10 propitiatory yama niyama defensive measures protect the chitta complex from the entry into further impurities. The chitta, when it gets impurified, then it becomes grosser and grosser and murkier and has more and more misery. So to divide yourself from misery, you have to go back to the subtler level from the gross level by practicing these 10 principles. To make the body fit to withstand the impact of higher states of yogic practices, asanas are to be practiced, and the asanas and pranayamas prepare the physical body suitably to consciously recognize the subtle changes that take place during the practice of pratyahara, dharana, and so on. So the higher practices of yoga, starting from pratyahara, start after pranayama. So pranayama and asana prepare the ground essential to reach those higher levels which are subtle, internal processes. Dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, which is the ecstasy of the absorption into Supreme Being. So asanas during the practice of regular nerve currents will be displaced with new channels will begin. So asanas will give you astounding health. New subtle vibrations start in the spinal column and will remodel the entire body. As the main part of yogic activity takes place in the spinal column, the necessary to the spine must be kept in a straight line. Samam kai siro grivam dharayan achalam sthira. So the Bhagavad Gita also explains the straight line requirement of the spinal cord with the neck and head. So the waist, chest, neck and head are kept in one straight line. This posture would facilitate the free flow of pranic energy in the spine. By the practice of correct posture, physiological, psychological and spiritual benefits are derived. The object of asana practice is to eliminate body consciousness. Tato dvandvena abhighataha. The effect of asana, if you are perfect in a particular asana, you are not affected by heat and cold or pleasure and pain, other dualities. If one is disturbed by body consciousness of any kind, one cannot concentrate the mind. That is the purpose of asana. Sthiram sukham asanam. Tato dvadvena abhighataha. There are only 2 sutras on asanas. Though we have hundreds of asanas nowadays, the basic purpose is to sit for a long time without getting disturbed. The pranayama, prana is the vital energy that sustains life. Without it, there is no life. Electricity, magnetism, gravitation are all different manifestations of pranic energy. The human body is the greatest receptacle for it. The mechanisms of the body are the conduits through which it flows. The nadis, 72,000 nadis, spread out throughout the body. The prana flows through all the nadis. The pranic flow is found expressed in breathing. Finally, it is manifest in breathing the left nostril and the right nostril. By controlling and regulating prana within himself, as expressed in his breathing, the yogi brings down within his power the other phases of prana working in the microcosm. In that way, he is gradually able to control his inner nature. So, through pranayama, gradually you can gain control over all the internal processes inside the body-mind complex. Pratyahara is the stage or one of the angas of yoga where the sense organs which are active outside and contact with outside objects, they withdraw from outside objects and go inside. And once the chitta withdraws in contact with sense organs, then the power of senses goes into contact with outside objects automatically ceases. So because of the senses, you are getting into contact with the outside world. And the pratyahara is a process of getting cut off from the senses and going into yourself. This withdrawal of chitta's power from the senses is known as pratyahara, opposite food. Dharana or concentration is the ability of the chitta to focus your attention on any selected object without any disturbance of thoughts. The object of concentration may be located outside or inside the body. So the process of concentration is very commonly available. Unless you concentrate, you cannot understand anything. So this is a deeper concentration. Deshabandhas chittasya dharana, Patanjali says. Fixing down one point. Jnana or meditation is that state of chitta where the object of concentration is held for a long time without any interruption of any other nature. So same dharana or concentration is a long time, uninterrupted. Then it is called jnana. So while concentrated, multiple waves of objects arise in chitta. As practice, multiplicity of these waves gives rise to gradually this multiplicity of the waves of thoughts will go away. And you are in yourself and you are infinite eternal. This is dhyana meditation. And in samadhi, when the object of concentration ceases to exist, sarupa shunyam you are. Separately and whole mind is filled with the object of concentration, absorbed into the object of meditation. Then it is called samadhi. When no basis is required in the whole body mind has become one way, one formless, it is called samadhi. In samadhi, only the meaning of the thought is present. The absorption. Dharana, jhana and samadhi together is called samyama. Meditation must begin with gross objects and slowly rise to finer and finer until it becomes objectless. That is on the self itself. This process should be trained, the mind should be trained to observe external causes of sensations, then to the internal changes, and finally to its own reactions. When the mind once acquires its power, it can understand the true nature of things outside, process of reaction inside and its own reactions. Then the yogi acquires the knowledge of everything.